there. This is Paul Caldron, and we're here in Greer, Arizona, where the altitude here in the mountain forest is around 2,700 meters, or 8,500 feet at this level. I brought along with me this cook stove. Small cook stove designed by a gentleman named Nigel Jordan in New Zealand. And Nigel is in the business of design and building and installing fireplaces. And he has taken an interest among other designers to find a design for a smokeless cook stove that might be implemented in the developing world to reduce lung disease and eye disease as a result of smoke from cooking accumulating in the small living areas of families. So the design is meant to have the smoke burn off while cooking so that it doesn't fill the living space. So taking into account that we're going to put this through the paces in an environment where the altitude is relatively high. The test fuel that we're going to use is pine wood, and we're going to see how this baby performs under these circumstances. I have the opportunity to get some help from the fine firefighter experts at the Greer Fire Department. So we'll be meeting them after we put this through the paces. So this is a closer look at the design. You see the main burn chamber. There's a fuel input slot. There is an air intake slot. On the bottom, it's double walled, as you can see, outer wall, inner wall, and the fire floor. And this is double walled, so air can come up through the double wall and exit through these ports. And the design is meant to create a very hot burn chamber with a spiraling flame that gets very, very hot and draws in enough air so that the fire exiting these upper holes is hot enough to burn off all the calories in the smoke, so that the smoke isn't in the room to be inhaled. This is designed by Nigel Jordan on his own printing lathe with flat metal sheets, durable metal, and it comes in pieces that are packed flat, and the whole thing can be put together by hand with no tools necessary, and the whole package can be sold for about $10. I think there's a small margin in there, but this is really price competitive. So we'll see how it performs up here. The natural fuel that they find in the forest.
And it's about $10 a piece to produce.
Oh, wow.
And that's 10 Kiwi dollars, New Zealand dollars, which would be about $7 here.
Mm-hmm.
ghetto lighter. I was just gonna break out a fuse and buy it.
I'm gonna text you guys from me. I came back from overseas about 2 weeks ago. That's cool.
Okay. To the inside the 2 walls?
Yes. Now we're almost okay. All right, we may have to have you guys sign releases.
You have not seen this in action, have you, Paul?
Just on their patio, but it was a bad day. It was
Oh,
really
okay.
windy, and all they had was wet wood,
Yeah.
so there was a lot of smoke then. This is showing very little smoke compared to his
Oh, okay.
demonstration.
Let's see if you can get it to boil.
If it boils in mountain air, we've got something here. Have you guys ever seen anything like this?
No, I haven't.
Wood burning jet boil.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
So it looks like just like a natural wood burning jet boil.
Like a jet boil
Jet
stove.
boil. Oh, what's a jet boil?
Is that like for
Like a
camping or
backpacking
something?
stove.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's
slick.
It's just a butane
Okay.
powered,
Oh,
Okay.
and it boils water in like literally a minute.
so then you have no smoke.
No
Yeah,
smoke.
Yeah.
no, it's a smokeless system anyway, but the design and the shape is similar.
Okay.
Okay.
The way that it aspirates air and
Yeah.
What would it cost in the market?
yeah, jet boil stoves
$9.
they're small. They're only about this big, and they start at $100.
Okay.
It's pretty much burning everything. Though. Really, all I can see is the top carbon coming off of the fuel. In it. Just coming off of those flames.
So Paul,
Now you're cheating.
This is set for body temperature.
The other one's in.
In the rig here, huh?
Oh yeah, the tick.
Oh, the tick.
Grab the
I'm
tick.
sure it'll take longer than the
We have a
little
thermal imaging
propane
device.
stove
Oh,
we're talking
absolutely,
about.
but,
Yeah.
Sit there and watch it.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. Thermal imaging.
What kind of heat it's
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So right there at the top, I'm showing like 113.
I got 86 degrees in the blue here.
Got some red spots. 126.
If you can zoom in on that.
Getting in the pot there. 90. Roughly.
We're in the 80s when I checked it.
Man, that bottom's starting to just.
So just have to make sure they don't put it on the carpet or anything like that.
It'll be on dirt.
These will be in
No
dirt.
carpet.
Huts,
Like
yeah.
concrete.
Any rug or
Yeah.
rug or anything. Food or hot.
I sent a picture of this to one of my friends who's kind of a prepper survival dude. And he was like, "Oh, rocket stoves. Rocket stoves are super."
Rocket stove.
Billy?
No, Darren Young.
There. Okay.
And they use wood.
I guess I could see that from there.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Let's look this side so I can see the experiments.
yeah, I've been really studying this and trying to figure out how it's exactly pulling its air and everything too. Trying to figure out the whole flow path of it and everything.
So, I mean, I'm holding this way away and I changed the direction of the angle on it. I wonder if it would make a difference how it was placed in the wind, where this intake was placed in relationship to.
That's boiling again.
I was saying they're doing it inside too when they
Yeah. Because I'll bet that would make a big difference also, is the position of this air intake in relationship to prevailing wind.
Okay.
Oh, that's my thought.
It needs more air. That's the only thing I
Yep.
come up with. Whether, that in relation to the prevailing winds, maybe a couple little dampeners or something on the side, more air intakes. If you're,
I'm not necessarily sold of getting rid of the smoke.
Yeah.
That's the big.
This thing can't get hot enough. That we've been able to see to where it could fully consume the
Right.
combustible.
Right.
Okay, now our floor temp is in the 15 range.
well, we definitely got less smoke right now.
Yeah.
I think there's not really any coming out of the box, more out of what's burning out the backside of the feeder chute.
So it's all about getting it hot, very hot, very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to take more air intake,
Mm-hmm.
the right kind of fuel, and building up some coals.
Tell you what, it's maintaining a pretty good boil though.
I mean, you can see right now all the smoke that's popping up right here. It's pulling in, so it's definitely trying to pull into the box.
I just wanted to rotate it and see.
No, but when you did, I just watched everything that I was talking about that was burning off over here. You come stand right here and watch it all pull in. So that wind's definitely feeding it right
So
now.
we should be getting.
Look at this flame coming in from here.
Yeah, it's pulling that air right now is what it's doing. So it's feeding it here and pulling it at the same time. I don't know how else to explain it. It's all crazy.
Well, it was a red pot, or black pot.
It's a black spot.
It is definitely burnt hot.
Teflon held on
Just to
good.
see
It did, didn't it? Outside's kind of nasty.
Pull anymore.
It's definitely pulling it right now.
I'm getting a draft at my face. out from the bay. Definitely less smoky.
I should just drop that in from the top. It'll be all right.
Yeah, it's definitely too much smoke
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
That's not gonna-
Defeats the
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So help me understand.
In fact, there, as we do, I'll have it record.
Rotate this just a bit too.
Yeah. So how does that fire behave differently when,
Turn it off real quick.
Go ahead and turn it back on.
so say here,
This tightens up that vortex quite a bit.
as opposed to on this side? This seems more turbulent,
Yeah.
or does it?
It's more turbulent, it's a far greater opening. It's not so direct like the other one.
Again, this is designed to be used indoors. So, I mean, you don't have a lot of control over direction of airflow and things like that. I mean, unless you have a front door and a back door and you position it.
Right.
And you can see that's
Big time.
yeah. Look how fast your water can go.
Yep.
That was like 30 seconds.
So it takes more than a child standing there.
Yep.
You just need
Either bigger or I would say more.
more.
Maybe a second one or a third.
Even if you place one, you basically have it like that here where you're putting your wood at. You can drop one there, and one here. Really?
There you go.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Okay, so I've had this rare opportunity to have the expertise of the Greer Fire Department evaluate this low technology cook stove designed for the developing world. And they have put this through the paces, and I've asked them to reflect on what they see about how well it works, how smokeless it works, it's designed for cooking, and what they think could be done to improve the design. So I'll start with the Deputy Chief over here. I'm sorry, Deputy Chief, can you introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Rye Sluter. So I'm the deputy chief here at Greer. I think the biggest thing that we've identified is in order to provide more complete combustion, it's going to need more air intake. And, you know, probably to facilitate the vortex design, a similar air intake would be probably beneficial on the opposite side. And that I think would help to make it kind of like omnidirectional too. It wouldn't have to be positioned in any, one way or another to maximize airflow. It would kind of grab air from whichever direction. But all in all, I think, when we started the double wall design, it minimizes heat loss. I think we had 900 degrees on the inside and about 100 degrees, 115 degrees on the external side. So for use indoors, even at the base of it, it was about the mid to high 90s, and even after we used the
Air blower.
heat gun on it,
Yeah.
I think we were up around 115, 118 degrees on the floor, which would still, I think, be
Yeah, we're talking
safe thing to use
Fahrenheit.
inside. Yes, Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think?
In order to get full combustion of smoke,
I'm sorry, can I have your name, please?
I'm Cody Wilson. I'm
Thanks,
a
Cody.
firefighter EMT.
Firefighter extraordinaire.
Thanks, Cody.
In order to get full combustion of smoke, you need it to get very hot very fast. And I agree, you could use some more air. Also, being able to experiment with different types of vegetation or whatever they may have for the area,
Different fuel types.
that'd be beneficial because it might do really well in this. Pine, not so much.
Okay.
My name's Mike Meacham. I'm also a firefighter. I think the main thing they've all touched on is air. It needs more air to, I think, fulfill that vortex style burn that we're looking for on the inside of the burn box itself. I think the type of material you're using to burn as well is going to play a huge role into smokeless on it. I don't think that you'll get completely smokeless, but definitely less smoke. I think that's going to play with the vegetation and the airflow in it, whether that's another air piece on the backside, some form of a dampener to adjust your airflow interior. The design itself, I really like it. I'm sitting here looking at it saying, man, that'd be fun just to play with my family out camping. So I think airflow is probably the biggest thing that's lacking right now.
Overall, very cool.
Yeah.
Cool item.
And thank
All right,
you for
gentlemen.
letting us.
Sure.
play with this.
Well, thank you for your expertise, and I'm going to pass this along with your permission.
Yeah, fantastic. Sure.
Thank you. So I've raised the cook stove up a couple of inches from the ground in order to see if there's more intake of air from the bottom in the double wall structure, if it will get the fire burning hotter, faster. And it's really taken off with just a little tinder and kindling. You can see the vortex effect. I'm feeding in some fuel. We're just sitting out here in the open. There's really not much of a breeze, not a lot of overt air movement. I guess there's a little, but not overwhelming. So we'll see how it goes. So as best I can tell, there seems to be very little smoke just by lifting it up a little bit. And you can see around those rim orifices the flicker of a little yellow-blue flame. So it's probably burning off the smoke carbon better with that increased intake. So, little smoke. we can get it hot enough to boil here in a minute or two. I'm going to start the timer. We're at about a minute and it's starting to steam a little bit. So it's starting to boil at 5 minutes. Got some pretty good coals going on down there. And a relatively flat piece of feeder wood. Smoke is modest, it's more steam. And we're starting to see the surface pop a little more. So we're about 5.5 minutes. So at 7 minutes, I guess you could say we're at a full tilt boil here with steam and no smoke. See if we can see the inner holes. I don't see much flame coming out of them, but it must be pretty hot in there. I've just got the original canister up on 2 relatively flat stones, and you can tell by the steam that it's really there's not a lot of wind out here. So with modest air movement and a little more air coming through the bottom, I think it's performing much better. See the base, coals are going pretty well, and flame is moving in its vortex. It's really, you don't want to hold your hand up to it. You don't want to touch it, but you can hold your hand up to it pretty comfortably. The stone is still cold. You can feel the heat underneath it. So, pretty cool. Advance the wood and finish this off. So next, porridge. So once again, we've got some coals and ash on the bottom, a little bit of feeder wood in here, and it's a nice vortex of flame, and looks pretty good. This as the flame dies down. Still pretty warm, but you can see the vortex of the smoke, but it's not hot enough to burn it out. So now we're getting quite a bit of smoke, even when it's elevated like this. So it seems to be that the key is to get it going fast and hot with a lot of tinder and kindling. Keep it hot, and maybe when you're done cooking, you douse it quickly and take it outside. But this part of the experiment suggests that elevation for more air movement and updraft between the two walls may make a difference. So it's starting to flame up again, and as soon as it flames up, the smoke goes down. So we're still using pine, which is not a dense wood, so it will probably emit more smoke, but you know, you just got to get it hot fast and keep it hot, and then probably douse it quickly to minimize the smoke in an indoor environment. So with those instructions, probably going to do well.